Things ain't always black and white. Just like you can't judge a book by the cover. She's got every award that I get now, from Guitar Slim to T-Bone Walker, Muddy. But they didn't give blues players the awards that we get today. And I didn't learn nothing from the book. I learned everything by listening to Muddy and them. I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I graduated to high school. And my mother taking a stroke, and I got about 3 months, and then I had to go back to the farm. I'm the oldest boy. I couldn't get a high school education. But I did go to the music teacher. And I said, I want to take music. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll get you book one. And I had a 78 on Muddy Waters. I said, I got book one. And I shook it at him. He put it on the turntable. He said, I can't teach you that. I said, well, forget you, then I can't come to your class. I didn't want no book one, man. I want book Muddy.
The clock is ticking, time is tight. Let's get walking on the wild side of life. Kiss me quick.
I knew he had a good heart, but he just didn't understand that I'm here to be treated just like any other man. My dad and them would go get a country guitar player every Christmas, and he could play the Lonnie Johnson stuff, and he would come to house on the farm on Christmas Day. And the other kids, if they had enough money to get a toy, they was out there playing with toys, and I would go get his guitar and sit there and try to figure out what he was doing. And I wore my fingers out because I just broke the 2 strings. I learned how to splash them because I couldn't afford to buy another one. And when I moved into Baton Rouge with my oldest sister, a stranger walked by, man, and say, if you had a guitar with all strings on, I believe you would play, because I see you sit on this porch every day with them 2 strings. I said, yes, I guess I would. He said, what are you doing Friday? I said, I'll be sitting here every day around 4 or 5 o'clock. He said, I'll be by. And he come by and say, come on, we're going to get you a new guitar. And you wouldn't believe, man, he took me downtown and bought me a harmony with F-holes and 6 strings on it, and I didn't know how to act. My sister was working at LSU. She came in and said, what the hell is this, a country boy? And the guy was sitting there with a quart of beer, humming, and I would bang, sound like a bunch of bumblebees because I couldn't play nothing. But anyway, she said, give me some of that beer, let's go out in the country to my dad's house. My dad looked at him and said, ain't you Mitchell? He said, yeah, they grew up as boys together. Are y'all tired of me? Well, you gotta let me know. I know how to cut the song short. Before I I get into another Buddy Guy song, let me tell you something. I didn't learn how to play my guitar by the book. But I'm not suggesting that to you if you're playing your guitar. Please learn the book. I don't read music. I don't write music. I just sing what come off the top of my fucking head. But I was listening to people like this, and I got them both so glad I got a chance to meet them all. And these are one of those old great blues players that the British and everybody else learned from, knew how to read or write music, but they played shit. Now wait a minute. I'm just going to give you a sample. Don't go and say, Buddy Guy forgot the fucking song. I'm doing this on purpose. Because I got my lesson from people like this. The one who bought the guitar, and that guitar is in Cleveland now, in the Hall of Fame. Coming up in Louisiana, you would see the late T-Bone Walker, the B.B. King, and the Guitar Slim. Well, I saw B.B. King, and all special effects should have his name on it now because he didn't need it. He could shake his left hand, man, and get all kind of vibrations out of it. And I said, if I ever learn how to play, I want to play like B.B. King. But then up steps Guitar Slim with a big record called Things I Used to Do. They brought him. I said, I got to go see this guy. So when they introduced B.B. King, he walks up on the stage and picks up his guitar and go to playing. So I'm sitting there, standing at the stage like this, waiting on Guitar Slim. And they said, ladies and gentlemen, Guitar Slim. And all I heard was a guitar. And he came in the door playing, man. I said, well, I want to play like B.B. King, but I'm going to act like Guitar Slim. And he had the Strat, and it was all beat up, man. It was scars. He didn't have a strap. He had a fish line with the guitar hanging on his shoulder. I said, now that's a guy that's playing the hell out of a guitar. That's what they made to be done, played like that. This morning, oh, what a shock. When I found out my key no longer fit my life, but oh, babe, I want you to go right back out there where you've been. But when I first went to England, there was Beck, Clapton, and Jimmy Page. They didn't believe blues was being played on the Strat till they saw me. And I got that in black and white. They were just saying, man, I ain't no Strat to play blues. I said, you kidding me, man, it's a guitar. And they all went, I think Rolling Stone about 30 years ago, so they put me and Beck on the front page, called us the Strat Cat.
I think I found sneaking out. Someone else was sneaking in. Look at here. I call your heart out. You want me to bring to me. I'm a brand new person, babe. Even the late Ray Charles could see. A new way of walk, baby. I used to wear my hair. The big smile on my face, baby. You didn't put it there. I got the shirt. There's a smile on my face. You didn't put it there.
Born and play the guitar, and I got a reputation. You got to be who you are. 20, in my 21, 20, all up to 30, a little over, I was like saying, I better listen to you, Willie Dixon, because you was affiliated with every hit record of Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and come to find out, I don't know how true that was, but he was taking credit for it. So the chess people would say, let Willie Dixon hear what Buddy's doing. And for an example, I was playing like Extortion to get the amplifier wide open. Every time I went into the chess, they would say, get out of here, don't nobody want to hear that. Then when I went to England in '65, that was Jeff Beck, Clapton, Jimmy Page, and they all went and brought Strats and started using all these amps like Jimi Hendrix used, and Leonard Chess sent Dixon to my house, said, go get Buddy. Because what he been playing, we've been ignoring it, and this thing is bigger than bubblegum now. And I went in the studio that morning, I said, well, what you want? He bent over and said, I wish you would kick me behind. I felt like kicking him for real, because, you know, they had cut me short, so I was a Johnny-come-later then. But I didn't let that bother me. Well, you know, my good friend Eric Clapton, for years, he said, I don't know why Buddy haven't had a hit record, because whenever I go play in person, I would put on my show. I always was a listener, still is. And when the late Willie Dixon, the chess people here in Chicago, every time I would go in to do a record, everybody wanted a piece of the pie, and they was teaching me how to play, and I was like listening. I didn't do like Eric and them say, leave me alone, let me have my way. The first time I got a chance to have my way was my biggest record I ever made, called Damn Right I Got the Blues. And that was in London, because that's what Jimi Hendrix had to do. You know, they was laughing at him in New York or wherever he was, and they took him to England, and the British say, bring it on.
Someone else was sneaking in. Now y'all can help me say that. While you were sneaking out. I like that shit. Let's do it all night. While you were sneaking out. Let's do it again. While you were sneaking out. Oh, shit. While you were sneaking out. Why not? One more time.
After I got able to buy a Strat, I seen it could take more wear and tear. I was in Africa, and we was in a station wagon. The guitar couldn't get in there, and he put it on top of the car. And in Africa, you know, speed limit, I think he's doing 100. My guitar flew off, and I looked back, and it was bouncing in the street. And guess what? One key was out of tune, the E. But it was scratched all up because of that busted out of the case. And I said, now, well, if I had playing on an acoustic guitar, wouldn't have been nothing but splinters left there.
Two fingers in my hand, I think, 10 foot. Right to the jump on that line. Don't let me wait, man. Oh, you know I like you, baby. If I don't love you, baby, I said, this ain't no friend. This ain't no friend. pet. Lost all my money, my woman is my pet. Got to have you, baby, silver, nothing less. You're all my good times, silver, happiness. Oh, I love you, baby. Oh, you know I love you, baby.
Stroke when I told you I went to Baton Rouge to try to go to high school. She had that stroke after about 3 months or 4 months of me in high school, and I had to go back to the farm. I'm the oldest boy, and help the family. So I went to my mom. I said, I'm going to Chicago, and I'm gonna make a lot of money. I'm gonna send you a lot of money back, and I'm gonna buy a polka dot Cadillac and drive back and make you smile. And she smiled, and I knew I was lying. I didn't want no polka dot Cadillac, man. I wanted to. So she passed away, and I said to myself, you know, you lied to your mama and never did tell her the truth about that polka dot Cadillac. What you gonna do? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna see can I get a polka dot guitar just in her honor because I lied to her. And it took them 20-some years to say they couldn't make a polka dot guitar, and finally got a guy in there said, I can fix it, and he started fixing it. And quietly as he kept, the first NAMM show they had, which was in Nashville, they made 200. Say, I don't think we're gonna get rid of them. They was gone before they got there. I knew about the reefer, I didn't know what effect it had. So every time you would go, it was a small dressing room. If they was in there, you was contact high and didn't know it. The Grateful Dead, I ain't ashamed to tell about them. But I was in Berkeley, California, and he came in. He said, come on, let me take you outside. I'm gonna give you something to make you play something you ain't never heard before. I said, okay. We went around behind the club, and he lit up this reefer, and I drawed off it about twice, and nothing about it. On my way back in, I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? I started laughing. It wasn't nothing funny. I said, Eric Clapton was in the house that night. So I went up, man, and I said, oh, my God, man, you. The next day he called me and said, man, you played some shit you never heard. I said, you damn right. I didn't hear not one lick of it, man. So that was it for me with that reefer, man. I can't handle that, man. No. Now,
I want you to put them lights out there because y'all gotta help me with this one. I want to see some faces because if you fuck this song up, we're gonna point you out. No, take that light off of me. I want to see the light on the. Yeah, that's what. a few records before you know who I was behind great musicians like Muddy Waters, Sonny Boy Williams, and Little Walter. The late Sonny Boy Williams made a record called Y'all Gotta Help Me. I can't do this fucking thing by myself. That's not what I'm finna do. I'm finna sing a song and y'all gotta repeat it after me.
I looked at it one day like this. I had learned, Muddy had taught me how to drink a glass of wine. There's two things I had and that was enough. I didn't need nothing else to keep me going. When I found out what a woman was and what a drink was, that was enough. I didn't need nothing else. Kids nowadays look for role models, man. I was looking at Muddy, BB, and all of them, what made me want to play. But if I didn't hear that, I was going to say, who in the hell is Muddy Waters? Who is BB King? Who is T-Bone Walker? The blues music is at an uphill battle, and we don't have many of us left. Last year, I worked more days than I've worked in my life in a year after BB King passed, Bobby Bland. We just want that to stay alive. You know, before Muddy and BB and all of them passed away, do you know we used to be drinking, man, and say, man, if I leave here before you, don't you let that blues down. And I know y'all got to drink. Even though this Saturday night, even I was born on a farm in Louisiana, we at least had Saturday and Sunday off. So, but I don't want to mess up your... Yeah, I worry about it because I worry about it. There's not many places blues guys play anymore, you know, and if you're not able to have a few fans come see you, the promoter saying, fuck you. Thank you. I wish the whole world could say that, lady. Wouldn't that be nice if everybody loved everybody? You wouldn't have to fight about these guns and all this violence. Wouldn't that be nice if our big politicians would stop bullshitting and say that no reason to have a gun that don't never stop shooting? No, I think it was... And I owe that to those guys, you know, and I'm like saying, okay, if I see somebody young and can probably pick up the pieces and take it on, I'll be more than happy to say, listen to this kid here, because I think he can keep it alive. We got some youngsters that's playing the hell out of it, man, but it worries me because, like I said, it's not exposed. I'm just hoping the blues don't disappear. This may be one of the last clubs. As a matter of fact, I didn't buy this club to make a living out of it. I was trying to keep what Chicago owns, which was the capital of the blues in Muddy Waters in them days. And when I came here 60 years ago, next year, there were so many blues clubs I didn't get a chance to see them all. So they started disappearing, and I said to myself, I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to spend my last dime and put a nice blues club. They flies in here from all over the world to see this club now. As long as I'm alive, and I hope my family keep it alive when I'm gone. I didn't get the little girl's name again. She played before, and she's a little older than you were. So you know, they got a video on him. They taped him at, what, he's 7 years? 7 years. Did you see that yet? Just go on YouTube and watch him at 7. I thought he was 87 when I saw him play. Yeah. And I caught him on stage and he played so well. So I was playing, I think within a week or 6 weeks with Eric Clapton at the Crossroads at the Madison Square Garden. So when I walked in with him and Eric Clapton looked at me and said, "Who's that?" I said, "Let's wait till you hear."
Sorry. Thank you.
Jump back. Keith Richard. And they was looking at me like I told you to bring somebody of age. And the first 3 notes he hit, Eric looked at me and said, "Who in the fuck is it? Why'd you find him at?" I said, "I just want you to know you can play." Because Chicago, man, once had every great blues player in the world here, man. And I know they're looking up at me. They used to tell me before they died, "Don't you let that blues die if I die before you." And I owe that back to Chicago because didn't nobody know who the hell I was when I came here. But when Muddy Water called me up to play, and now he's gone away, I'm here to stay. You can't judge a book by the cover. We all got to be careful how we treat one another. I say, skin deep, skin